Hello, this is a video on how to play Durak, or Durak, however you wish to pronounce it. Now, Durak is a simple game, and there is no winner, and so there is only a loser. And the game was invented in Russia, and it's actually Russia's most popular card game. And the last player with cards left, and so let's just talk a bit about how you play. Um, but the last player with cards left is known as the Durak, and the objective is to get rid of all your cards, right? And so the last player with cards left is the loser, and he's known as the Durak, which in Russian, which in English translates to fool. Um, and so they call him the fool because he's the loser. He's lost the game. And so what you need is, Durak can be played by from anywhere to from 2 to 6 players. And so in this example, we're playing with 4 players. Um, you also need a 36 card deck. And so that would be your aces down to the sixes. And so the 2s through the 5s of every suit are removed out of the deck, leaving you with 36 cards in the deck. From highest to lowest, it's ace, king, queen, jack, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. And so 2 through 5 is removed, and then the rest of the card ranks just follow how they normally would, from lowest to highest, face value, with aces being the highest. Um, and so you're going to deal 6 cards to each player, 1 card at a time in a circle. In this case, the dealing's already done, but if you were playing in real life, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, I guess it would be, sorry, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 3, 4, 4, 4, 4, 5, 5, 5, 5, 6, 6, 6, 6. And so that is how you would deal cards to each player. And so then the next top card would be flipped up, and then the remaining deck is placed on top of it. And so that's exactly what has happened. The next top card was flipped up, and the remaining deck was placed on top of it like so. The suit of the card flipped up is the trump suit for the round. So the flipped up card is a 10 of diamonds, and so diamonds are the trump suit for the round. And so the objective of the game is to, once again, avoid being the last player with cards. There is no winner in Durak. You simply just want to avoid being the last player with cards. There's only one loser, and he is the Durak, or the Fool. And so during gameplay, there are attackers and a defender. In this case, Plato here is the defender, and right now, I am the attacker. The defender is successful when they are able to beat all the attacks made, and the defender is unsuccessful if they are unable to beat an attack. Um, and so the first attacker is the player with the lowest trump card. Notice that cards ranked from highest to lowest are ace to 6. And so the lowest trump card would be a 6 of the trump suit. In this case, the trump suit is a diamond, and so the 6 of diamonds would be the lowest trump card. Since I possess the lowest trump card, the 6 of diamonds, I am the first um, attacker, and the first defender is then the player to the left of the attacker. In this case, the player to my left is Plato. And so an attack consists of a player playing a card into the middle, and the defense is made by beating the card played. And so this is quite a simple game, and you'll see. And so an attack card is beaten by a high ranking card in the same suit, or a trump card, a higher ranking trump card, or like basically if I play a trump card, Plato defends it by playing a higher ranking trump card. If I play a normal suited card, Plato plays a higher normal suited card, or any trump card. Just trump beats regular. If you have 2 regulars, the higher rank is the winner, and if you have 2 trumps played, the higher ranking trump is the winner. And so an attack is defended by a higher ranking card in the same suit, or any trump card. And if an attack is successfully defended, and so let's just do an attack here. And so give me a second. And so we made our attack. I played a 6 of diamonds here, that was my card, and then Plato played a queen of diamonds, and that was Plato's card. Now, since it was a higher ranking card, right, a queen is higher than a 6, Plato successfully defended. And so if an attack is successfully defended, another attack can be made, but the new attack card must be the same rank as a previously played card. And so, since Plato defended my attack, I can attack him again. However, the card I play must be a previously played rank. The only two ranks played so far are a 6 and a queen. And so if I had a 6 and a queen, I could attack again. Since I do not, I have to pass. And so after the original attacker is done attacking, the player left of the defender can make an attack if possible. So we go in a clock right there. So I pass. Now it's Euclid's turn to make an attack. Plato defends. Euclid keeps. Notice how Euclid attacked 3 times there. And so let's just talk about what happened there. A lot just happened there. And so the opportunity to make attacks continues clockwise, right? And so Euclid attacked 3 times. You can keep attacking again and again, and once you're done, you pass to the next player. And so an attack has a maximum of 6 attacking cards, right? And so if the defender makes 6 defenses, then that's no more attacks after that. Notice how each player has 6 cards, right? Each player presently has 6 cards. And so if the defender begins with less than 6 cards, the maximum number of attacking cards is equal to the number of cards the defender has at the start of the attack. And so since right now every player has 6 cards, the attack has a maximum of 6 cards, right? But let's say, so in this case, Socrates is defending. If Socrates only had 2 cards, then the maximum cards that can be laid down in an attack would be 2 cards. The maximum cards that can be laid down in an attack is equal to the number of cards the defender has. Typically, it's 6 cards the defender has. That's why we typically say 6. However, keep in mind, it is the maximum number of attacks that can be made is the number of cards the defender has. And so, an attack may end before 6 attacking cards. If the attackers cannot or choose not to attack further. And so if a defender successfully defends all attacks, the defender becomes the new attacker. And then when a defender wins, the cards from the middle are discarded. If a defender cannot defend an attack or chooses not to defend an attack, like Plato did, the defender adds all the cards from the middle, right here, into their hand, and they lose their turn to attack. And so notice how I said attacking goes in a circle. Since Plato wasn't able to defend properly, right? He lost the defense. The attack skipped him as well, and it went to Euclid. And so that's what happens when you lose an attack. So let's just talk about what's happened so far. So far we know about attacking and defending. The player who attacks. The player who defends plays a higher ranking card, right? Whether that's trump or in the same suit of a higher rank, etc. After one attack is made, the subsequent attacks made must be the same rank as any previous card played. And so right now, since this is a 7 and a king, the only attack I can make would be a 7 or a king. It has to match the rank of a card previously played in in the battlefield, basically. And so also you can pass. You don't have to attack. And you don't have to defend, right? You can choose not to defend. And so if you choose not to defend or you lose a defense, you take the cards from the middle and lose your turn to attack. And so if a defender cannot defend, right? So in this case, Plato said he didn't defend, whether he chose or whether he could not defend, right? Like whether he was forced to lose the defense or whether he chose strategically to lose the defense, that's up to him, and we don't know that. However, if a player loses a defense, any other player can add one more attacking card. And so let's say Plato loses, in this case it's Socrates. Let's say Socrates, I play a king, right? Because I can play a king or a7, and Socrates chooses not to defend. Every other player has one more opportunity to add an attacking card, once again using the same rules, which is in that the attacking card must resemble a card already played on the battlefield. And so, even if you choose to strategically defend, right? And so let's say I place a7, and let's say Socrates didn't place that queen. You might say, okay, Socrates is going to pick up 3 cards. However, Plato and Euclid would both get an opportunity to place one more card as an attack, and then Socrates would be forced to pick up those extra cards as well. And so obviously the last player with cards is the loser and loses the game. And so after an attack, players draw cards to return their hands to at least 6 cards. This is if you're below 6 cards. If you already have more than 6 cards, then you won't draw cards. And then the last draw card is the flipped up trump card right here, right? And so let's just highlight what's happened so far. We know about attacking and defending. I've talked about some of the rules, and now I'm bringing in some new points. So there's attacking and defending just by higher ranking and lower ranking cards. Once again, if you lose a defense, you pick up the cards in the middle. You lose your ability to attack. And you can choose whether or not you want to attack, and you can choose whether or not you want to win the defense or lose. And to attack, you must match a previously ranked card in the middle. It's quite simple, right? And so now let's just add 2 more rules. And so I've talked about the first one already. After an attack, players have to draw cards to return their hands to at least 6 cards. And then with the original attacker drawing first, and then other attackers moving clockwise. This doesn't really matter. And so just after an attack, each player has to draw cards to return their hands to at least 6 cards. I guess if you care a lot, the original attacker would draw first. Then the other attackers would draw moving clockwise until they all have 6 cards. And then lastly, if the defender needs to replenish his his hand to 6 cards, he would also draw as well. And so this is the most important part. The last draw card is the flipped up trump card. And once this card is drawn, the race to get rid of cards begins. And the last player still with cards is the loser. And so if we look at this, the last draw card is indeed the flipped up trump card. So it would be the 10 of diamonds. And then once this card is drawn, then no player can actually replenish their deck, right? And so that is when you race, trying to lose all your cards. And so the game sort of stalls. You may have other players who have accumulated more cards from losing defenses, and thus they may already have more cards when this last card is drawn, thus being at a disadvantage compared to other players. But so essentially the essence of the game is to attack and defend. Once this last flipped up card is drawn, the race is to lose all of your cards. The last player left with cards is the Durak or the Fool. And a player, once again, a player does not have to attack, and a defender can choose not to defend. So let's just go through the game here. Socrates defended, and so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to play I can play a king. And he played a7. There's nothing I can play here, and so I have to pass, right? Because none of my cards were a king, a queen, or a 7. So you have to match the cards played in the middle. And so since Socrates successfully defended, all the cards were discarded there. And so now it's my turn to defend. It goes clockwise, right? And so Socrates successfully defended, so all the cards were discarded. If Socrates could not successfully defend, then he would have to pick up all the cards. And so now it's my turn to defend. And so what can we do here? So now let's just play the game. So he played a 9, and I can play a high ranking card, or equal rank. so I can't play a 9 because it's not higher ranking. I'd have to play a higher ranking card in the same suit or a higher ranking card in the trump suit. And so I'm actually just going to take. I'll lose the defense there. And note that every other player gets one more opportunity to play a card, right? And so that's what happened. I don't have a 6, a jack, or a queen. I do have a jack, but I'll choose to pass. An 8, I don't have an 8, so I'll choose to pass. And so if every player passes, then the defense is over. Or if 6 defenses are successfully made. And so in both scenarios, the cards are discarded. And so it's Plato's turn to defend. It's my turn to attack. I'm going to go with a 9. And he played a 10. I'm going to play another 9. And so you'll sort of see the strategy yourself. I actually can't attack anymore because I don't have a 9 or a 10. And an attack can, the rank of an attacked card has to match a previously played card. And so it's my turn to defend. So he played an ace. I'm going to play an ace of... I'll take... Actually, no. And so no other player had any cards left to play, right? And so now it's just me and Plato playing. Because Socrates and Euclid both got rid of all their cards, and so me and Plato are playing to not be the loser. And so I don't want to be the loser here. And so I'm going to try really hard. And so I can't get rid of any card here, and so I have to pass. And so Plato got rid of all of his cards, and so now I'm the loser, I'm the Durak, I'm the fool. And so hopefully you understand how to play Durak. It's quite a simple game. You'll figure out the strategy yourself once you play more games, and I'm not going to spoil that. But that's it. Thank you for watching, and I hope you learned how to play Durak.